Na 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 na. I don't have an entry video this week. Na 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 na. Okay. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 1 of In Tune, the live show, the greatest tuning live show on the face of the planet. Welcome to Bill being a new member. Hey Bill, big shout out to you right off the bat. That being said, let's go ahead and just give a big shout out to all of the new patrons out there. We got the Auto Answer Man, Patrick, James, Dale, Bourbon Professor, Angel, Steve, Craig, Jason, Joe, Randy, Victor, James. Wow, so many new patrons. Thank you to all of the patrons, not just the new ones, but all the patrons for all of the support. We have broke 150 patrons, and because of that, I've got some special edition decals on the way for patrons, and it is eligible for anybody that's a patron as of February 1st. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and extend that out to February 2nd because it rebills at the end of the month. So if you are not a patron, don't sign up today. We're too close to the end of the month. I mean, you can sign up today, but you have to realize on the 1st it's going to charge you another $15. So don't sign up today. Wait 2 days. Wait till Saturday. Sign up, and then on Sunday I will grab the list of all the patrons. And if you are on that list, come Sunday, February 2nd, you will get a special edition Project Country Club decal that is never going to be released elsewhere. It's only going to be available specifically for patrons on February 2nd, whoever's a patron February 2nd. And for everybody else, yeah, Biker Boy, just wait, because as I said, the way that this is set up, since I offer tuning advice as soon as you sign up, you have to pay whenever you sign up, because if not, you could sign up and then cancel before the end of the month. I mean, and it's the honor system, and generally that's not something that you have to worry about, but 1 out of 10 people. Well, DMC, as I said, if you can get it in by Sunday, John, we're going to get hats. I promise you. I got to get through tax season and see how much taxes I owe from last year, because I don't know that I've paid enough taxes on any of this kind of YouTube stuff. So who knows? But that being said, welcome back to In Tune. It has been a whole 2 weeks, the longest that we've gone without an episode. It was nice to take a break. I had some stuff to kind of get done. I've been busy in the garage. Ross, I don't know. Oh, it does prorate your subscription, Ross? Is that true? Ross Lawrence says it prorates your subscription, so it would only cost $1 to join for this month. If that's true, then by all means go ahead and join up, because it's only $1. Thank you, Darwin. How is everything down under, brother? Have the fires subsided? I've not paid attention to any news in the last month. Okay, that's good to know, Ross. That is really good to know. I feel a lot better about that, knowing that it prorates the month. So let's see who we've got in here. We've got Steve Van Hook, Biker Boy BSFC90's back again. Bill Z is new. Riley's back. Zero. Oh, I already said Zero. I'm not going to give you any more shout outs. Zero. John, the other John, DMC's back. Richard Schmidt, Brandon Crocker. Brandon, are you new? Michael B is back. Atomic, as always, good to see you, brother. S10 issues. Yes. The only dingus. I know you're new. Matt Landon says a big thank you for all your help with getting me set up on the HB Tuner. You are welcome. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to join us here on the live stream. Of course, Darwin, our buddy from down under, sending all the love down to Australia. Ross, as always. JT Black Z. Yeah. Excellent. Hey, there's Geo. Good to see you, Geo. Tonight we are drinking some Evil Twin Brewery, and it is, I always felt closer to IPAs than I did to people. Let me get in front of the camera here. Pretty good IPA. Pretty good IPA. Darwin did put a new starter on the car. Okay, Brandon. Well, welcome back. Sorry you missed the last couple of streams. Hey, Russ, what is going on? Hey, there's Brandon. And there's Leroy. Everybody say hi to Mr. Garage, a.k.a. my dad. Ooh, Atomic Punk says he's got a new place with a decent garage. He's going to start recording my projects soon now. Well, whenever you do, Atomic Punk, just let us know. We'll go check them out. 325 LS Sonoma says, need tuning advice on fastest way to fold laundry. You need to find somebody that's worked in the retail business before, Sonoma. Ross, you got flagged for saying the word tranny. Hey, Josh, what's going on? Welcome back. Hey, Red Nug. So Ross says, I pulled the tranny, engine, new clutch slave time. Ah. Riley, you will have to refresh my memory. I get so many emails every day. JT Black Z, good to hear that you got rid of that check engine light on the map tune. James Taylor, yes. So, Biker Boy asks, what are some basic things I need to do to my tune now that I'm switching from a 6 liter to a 5.3? I spun a rod on my 5.3 before it even got tuned. So, you need to update your cylinder volume, your manifold volume, and then your injector scaling. Those are the big things. Then you want to go through the standard tuning steps after that. Hey, Omar, welcome. David, welcome. David Rampel asks, I've been thinking about buying an HP tuners. Would you recommend getting the Pro or not worth it? Not worth it. Listen, David, I will keep on going against the grain as far as this goes. If the only option that you have is an analog out on your wideband, the only solution at that point in time is either replace your wideband setup with one that has serial or go with HP Tuners Pro. HP Tuner Pro right now is a humongous ripoff. One of these days they're probably going to send me a cease and desist letter because every chance I get I like to highlight the fact that HP Tuners Pro is a huge ripoff on the MPV i2 because basically all the features that they have promised have been held up and they're just not. They're not, I don't know, they're too busy trying to support new platforms instead of supporting the devices that they've already sold. It's kind of a crock. What's going on, Nick? Welcome back. Access says, quick question, is dialing in startup idle a little difficult on Gen 3s? Shouldn't be. My GTO is rather challenging, but I'm also new to tuning. Hot or cold, it has a lazy start. Access, you bring up a good point. Whenever you are in startup, and this is all going to be based on coolant temperatures. So you have a lot of tables that will adjust fueling based on coolant temperatures on top of your standard VE table. So you have a table that is your cranking table. Actually, you might have 2 or 3 cranking tables based on the platform, but you have a table that is the cranking table that lasts until you hit a certain RPM. Then you get into the startup section of it, and you have a bunch of tables that affect fueling based on things like coolant temperature, IAT, things like that. You probably need to focus on the ones that are based on coolant temperature sensors because they are generally the ones that cause the most issues. Jorge asks, would you happen to have a stock tune file for a P59 Flex? I do not personally, but if you can, somebody might be able to dive in here. Darwin asks, can I ask what your qualifications are, i.e. your background? I have absolutely no clue what I'm talking about, Darwin. I've never touched a car myself. Now, my background is originally I started out in computers way back in the day. I've been working on computers since I was about 9 years old. You can ask my dad, he's in here somewhere. I even tore his computer apart at about 9 years old and almost gave him a heart attack because it had all of his tax files on it. But I was doing computers, IT stuff like that for a long time. Then whenever 9/11 happened, I joined the Air Force as an aircraft electrical and environmental specialist. After I got out of the Air Force, I got into automation. Basically, I was an I&E tech at that point in time, instrumentation and electrical in the oil field, and was working on cars while I was in the Air Force. That's the first time that I took a 99 Subaru RS 2.5 turbocharged it, tuned it with a Greddy E-Manage piggyback fuel system, and it's been all downhill since then. I've been working on cars since about 2002. Been tuning cars seriously since about 2008 whenever I bought a brand new Corvette right off the showroom floor, and broke 250 miles at the drag strip after I'd already voided the warranty by jamming a box knife through the AC condenser trying to install a Veraram on it. Riley says, I asked a few streams ago about adjusting the torque reduction to help keep the 3/4 shift from wrecking fourth gear, and you said shoot me an email with the two. Riley, I apologize, man. I get so many emails. I may have brushed over it. Do me a favor, not tonight, but send me a tune tomorrow if you can, and I will get to it. I promise I will be on the lookout. John, E38 returnless scaling. Watch your video on scaling injectors by multiplying the injector flow rate by 105. The value at 58 psi reached the injector flow. Okay. Josh has a question. IAT breakout 5-pin MAF. T into the 5-volt. Cut the signal wire to the plug and connect it to the IAT plug. Correct. Will this work with an E38 Gen 4 with a returnless rail? Okay, I see, John. You put it in 2 lines here. Multiplying the value of injector flow. Will this work with a returnless rail? Tuning returnless system has been a challenge for me without injector flow curve. You are correct. Okay, and I'll give you a quick rundown, John, of how I normally approach it, and it's probably not the correct way, but it's one way of doing it, and that is to take your flow rate that you had beforehand at your injector flow rate that you know at 58 psi, multiply that 58 psi square up until you hit the 80 pound and leave the rest out. That's about the only thing you can do without injectors or without the injector information. Okay, and once again, as always, guys, if I miss a question, by all means, after the live stream is over, post it down in the comments and I will get to it. Steve Van Hook says, on an LS swap vehicle pre-OBD2, would you recommend the Holley setup or factory setup to run the engine? Steve, I literally talked about that in a video that I shot today. I've not put out yet. The Holley setup is so easy. So easy. So easy. So, me as somebody who's been tuning for a long time, Steve, either way, cheapest, case, I would probably go with the factory setup. But if you're not wanting to get off into the woods with learning super in-depth tuning and wanting a more gentle approach to getting things running well, the Holley stuff is great. No problem, Brandon. I mean, it's a job. I enjoyed it. Hey, Randy, welcome back. Just now I'm way up here. You guys are way down. You're way down here. I'm way up here still. BSFC9, my wideband has a USB out. Any idea if I can connect it like one that has a serial out? BSFC9 is going to depend on the model and whether or not HP Tuner supports bringing that in over serial or USB. Matt Landon says, any opinion on turbocharging a 14-2500 with 190,000 miles on it? Matt, at that point in time, things might be getting a little bit loose. Just don't get carried away with the boost. You can still have fun. Is that a new phrase? Things might be getting a little loose. Don't get carried away with the boost. Hold on a second. Hold on here. Let's do... let's go ahead and do that. Okay. So... Darwin says, love to see you team up with other YouTube channels. Darwin, there is some stuff in the works, not necessarily with other YouTube channels, but there might be some stuff with some performance people in the background. So keep your eyes peeled. Might be some collaborations going on with some performance manufacturers, things like that in the near future. And, yeah, and I would love to team up with Randy. Love his content. Lowbuck's great. If you guys haven't checked out Lowbuck, check him out. Lowbuck LS. Man, you guys are scrolling me. Tanaka, welcome. Thank you for joining. James Taylor says, on a Turbo LS fuel pressure regulator, static or boost reference, and why? You want to do boost reference on that situation, James Taylor, because you have to look at it as a pressure differential across the injector. You have fuel pressure on this side of the injector, you have manifold pressure on this side of the injector. So if you have a boost reference fuel regulator, it will raise the pressure on the fuel side of the injector according to the manifold side. My dad's killing me right now. Used to have them buy computer catalogs and didn't choose Playboy. I didn't know that Playboy was an option back then, Dad. Welcome back, Sinister73. No, we're just doing merch. I'm not doing another t-shirt quite yet. Thank you, though. Riley says, how do you log misfires? Seem to have a tiny amount. Well, you know, misfires is based off of the crank position sensor, but you say this reads on a tiny amount on random cylinders once in a while. It's probably not true misfire. Is it flashing the OBD2 light, Riley? Yeah, and we will throw a link out to Randy's YouTube channel here at the end of the stream if you guys haven't checked it out already. What's going on, Beards and Gears? Welcome back, brother. Yeah, Jim White brings up a good point. You can log a little bit higher resolution of misfires using the scan tool. If you've seen any of my videos on the VX Diag, it works as a Tech 2. It will log the misfires. Steve Van Hook asks, where did you come up with Goat Rope Garage? Well, back where I come from, in the farming plains of Oklahoma, a goat rope is just kind of a situation that's out of hand. It's kind of like chasing a greased hog. You know, it's monkeys humping a football, or, you know, situation normal, all effed up kind of situation. That's what a goat rope is. And so it is literally... Listen, if you watch my dad work in the old round top back in the day, you saw a goat rope every once in a while. I love you, Dad. I can't say anything. I dragged the back wheel off of a 7-bottom plow and didn't realize it until I was about a quarter mile down the road. The county was probably pretty mad at me after that ordeal. Dad had to come out, jack it up, and weld it up for me. I was a little bit young. Awesome, John. Low Buck is how you found me. Hopefully some people have found Low Buck because of me. Try to send some people over that way. Riley, if you're hitting a wall at 110 miles an hour, you probably got something else going on. Probably might be hitting a cutoff. Geo asks, what can I do with permanent DTC codes? Cat deletes on a C7 Stingray. Won't go away. No check engine light, but will pop up when you read the DTC. Okay, Geo, the thing about permanent DTCs are they are linked with things that are generally emissions related, and they do not go away until A, you have fixed the problem, and B, you have done so many drive cycles. Now, here's the problem. Generally, whenever people run into permanent DTCs, it is because they've done things like remove the rear cats, which are the rear O2 sensors, which are the cat efficiency sensors, and they're not going to put those back on. So literally about the only solution that you have, and I hate to say this, the only solution that you're going to have in that situation is to download a config into the ECM. And when I say download, I'm talking about going into SPS and writing the OS from SPS and then choosing the clear DTCs. But before you ever start the car, going in, preferably on a bench harness, and disabling those DTCs so they do not have the opportunity to set the permanent DTC. That being said, permanent DTCs I do not believe are looked at by emission standards. Generally, I think they're only looking at the readiness flags, and permanent DTCs will not prevent you from spoofing a readiness flag. I didn't say that would not prevent the readiness flag, because a permanent DTC will prevent a readiness flag, but if you disable enough stuff in the DTCs, the readiness flag will check out as good. S10 Issues asks, on a Gen 3, does it matter if knock sensors are in the opposite holes? Yes, it does matter, because it will register your knock on the wrong side of the block. So you can, well, I'd have to go back and check Gen 3s. I know on Gen 4s and Gen 5s, you can look at individual cylinder knock that is calculated off of proximity and crank position to try and determine which cylinder is getting the knock. My guess is it's the same on the Gen 3, and if the knock sensors are swapped, you're probably going to get false knock readings. Craig Patterson says, I have a 2018 Camaro SS. I recently started to notice a surge at 11% throttle when 11% throttle is opening and closing 5%. So back and forth from 11 to 16%. Craig, what is your modifications? Throw them in the chat. L. Baker says, what's the deal with any of the P01 to P10 computers not showing an operating system? I don't know, man. I don't have enough experience on those. Brandon Crocker says, what's your opinion on Tuner Pro? I don't work on that generation stuff enough to have any opinion on Tuner Pro. Brandon. Matt Landon says, what inspired you to start making videos about working on cars? I was doing this stuff anyways, and I was frustrated with the lack of information, to be honest with you. So I'm going through this process. I had, as far as the Super Auto was concerned, I had started tuning on that thing 2 years before I ever shot a video on it. Went through the process, tuned it myself. Thing was just crazy. And I thought, one of these days, you know what, I should just record this and maybe help some people out. So that's kind of what started. And it's just gone like wildfire, Matt. And I love it because I have learned so much more from you guys. I'll be honest with you. I've probably learned more from you guys than you guys have learned from me, because I get experience from so many different platforms now, and I can see what's the same on different platforms and what's different. And so it's just been a great experience, and man, I'm blessed to have such a great group of tuners out there, men and women both, who are interested in car modifications and learning how to actually work on their own cars. TJ says, I'm liking the podcast. Keep rocking, brother. I need to update the podcast. It's been a while. I apologize. Ooh, Riley says, I think the car is running very lean wide open throttle because it has melting plugs. That's a good sign that you were probably melting plugs, so just be careful. James Taylor, I don't know if you're joking or not, but knock sensors are basically sensors on the block. They're microphones, and they listen for ping or detonation. And in your general map, as long as you haven't messed with the low octane map, they will shift your timing down to make sure that you do not damage your engine. Ping and detonation are the worst things that we run into as engine tuners. Craig, Rotofab intake, E85 muffler delete. Let me scroll back up here. Good chance, Craig, with those mods that you're running, you're getting a lot more airflow through the engine, and it's throwing the torque values off, and you're running into torque limits. So I've got a video out there on torque tuning. Go check that out, see if it helps you out, and if not, let me know. Thank you, Global Media Incorporated, as always, for saying, hey, go hit that like button. That brings more people in here. Good turnout tonight, 80. I was worried that after being a week off that nobody would show up. Red Nug says, it's been pretty cool to take some of your tuning content and apply it to my Hellcat. Man, where are you at, Red Nug? Are you anywhere near Pennsylvania? Because I would love to find somebody with a Hellcat near the western side of Pennsylvania and shoot some videos about said vehicle. L. Baker says, how can I figure out the fuel rail pressure? User-defined parameters, how they work, and I appreciate the help of lack of information via YouTube. Man, Mr. Baker, that all really depends on your platform and whether or not you have a pressure sensor. If you do not, you can. There's a pressure sensor if it's a modern vehicle somewhere in the fuel system. It's probably back before the fuel rails, but man, that's uh, very platform specific, man. The easiest way outside of that is to look for an aftermarket setup that plugs into a lot of fuel rails on returnless systems have a bung on the front of the fuel rail or somewhere in the fuel rail with the Schrader valve. You can pull that Schrader valve out and they make an adapter, and then you can put an aftermarket fuel pressure sender on there. In fact, I had to do it for the Holly setup. Done the tune adjustments for the E85. Nothing changed for the Rotofab. Getting a wideband next week. Hoping it doesn't make it difficult to diagnose. Now, as I said, Craig is probably torque based. Hey, Bill, welcome back, brother. Riley says, what would you check in the tune that might cause fuel cutoff or leaning out at certain speeds? Check your limiters. Underneath fuel, look for cutoff. There will be a cutoff tab underneath fuel. Make sure that you're not, and then also check on your, if you've done any transmissions adjustments because of tire size and stuff like that. I see a lot of time whenever people change their tire size, they go in and use the tire wizard. And whenever you update settings through the tire wizard, it often puts you so close to redline that you end up bumping into a rev limiter. Latham Bagley says, it is amazing the amount of knock retard a stock Gen 5 5.3 liter has on factory timing on an 87 octane. You are 1000% correct. It is gross. Honestly, they should have put a sticker on there saying recommend at least 91 octane fuel because there is so much knock retard on the factory Gen 5 tunes. Doesn't even matter with the 5.3. It's the L83, L86, LT1, LT4. All of those have so much reaction that they pull timing. So I would guarantee you almost anybody that has not looked at their tune on a Gen 5 platform is probably losing 20 horsepower if they are not running anything over 87 horsepower. Craig, look at things like driver demand tables, and driver demand is a big one. Then any of the torque. Oh man, I'm not really set up for throwing up this stuff, but bump them by 10%. 10% values to any of the torque stuff, as long as it's not transmission stuff, Craig, will be fine. Bump them up. Nick asks, do you typically run less ignition timing on engines with higher compression? Yeah, I mean, you have to. Because if you run too much pre-ignition on high compression, because that's all a turbo is, that's all a supercharger is basically you're creating artificial compression. But that being said, you don't have to pull as much ignition timing, because if you were on a turbocharged engine that's making, say, 10 psi at 9.5 compression ratio, it is probably equivalent to something like 14.5 compression ratio. So that's something that you're going to have to pull 6-8 degrees of timing on that compression ratio, just static, not as detrimental. Biker Boy says, still having issues with getting HP tuners to continue looking at my wideband after I start recording. I've updated HP tuners. My drivers started computer up with everything. I mean, Biker Boy, has it ever showed up? Thanks, Rick. Michael Breakall says, $15 Patreon is worth every penny just for the knowledge this dude gives all of us for free. And we'll look at your tuning log file. Way cheaper than a tuning session. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate your continued support and for spouting the $15 Patreon. And apparently, as I said, it prorates. So if you sign up right now, and as I said earlier, any patron that is signed up by February 2nd will get a limited edition Project Country Club decal. One run, never going to be made again. Tell Jared and Justin I said hi, and the whole family. Steve Van Hook says, can you do a video with a Holly using the self-tune versus manual tuning to see how close the self-tune software gets? Steve did it today. It will be coming out in the next couple of days where I touch on the self-tune stuff. And I literally touch on it in comparison to the video that I did a few weeks back about building the bass tune using the VE table from HP Tuners to get a bass tune. And the table that is being generated versus the one that we did from the VE table from that video is about 10% off. So, I mean, that is more than acceptable. 10% within the actual area that you need to be in, then using the self-tune has been great. So, Steve, keep your eyes peeled. Probably tomorrow that video will be out. I've already edited it. It just got uploaded. So I'm not going to put it out until tomorrow, but Rick Johnson, do you suggest any specific octane booster that won't negatively affect a tune? No octane booster will negatively affect a tune. If you are going up in octane, the only thing that you're going to do is run safer than you would normally run on your tune. So if you have some knock, that's a good way to test if it is actual knock by throwing some octane booster in there and letting it solve the knock. Brandon says, on my recent LS swap, 484L80, I noticed 1, 2, and 2, 3 shift has a delay about a second depending on TPS percentage, then it resumes into gear. Any idea what that might be? Have you already adjusted your shift times, Brandon? Well, how much booster you run at Atomic? Geo says, I am seeing 5.5 milliseconds and higher on C7 with the E85. That's getting close to the limit. Intake, LT headers, Corsa exhaust. Find it hard to believe that I'm running out of injectors. That is correct. You are running out of injectors, Geo. If you are at 5.5, you are on the edge. 6 is probably the limit where you can hit. Throw methanol on it. You'll pick up 1.5 milliseconds probably based on the size of methanol injection port that you run on. Dennis, welcome. Appreciate it, brother. You are gold. Josh asks, how does timing logic on Gen 5 stuff actually work? And in fact, on everything, he says, does it try to add it and then back off with knock? No, everything starts with the high octane table as the base table, and then any of the multipliers or adders are added to it. And then whenever it says knock, or sees knock based on the attack rate, it starts to shift towards the low octane table. Zero asks, do you mess with the lean cruise stuff? No, I do not. I am here for horsepower, not gas mileage. If you're looking for gas mileage, go over to whatever his name's channel is. I'm just messing with you, Zero. You know I love you. Lathan Bagley says, does anybody have any info on some rumors going around the HP Tuner forums about the new updates will be removing the ability to disable the catalyst test and check engine codes? I will tell you this much, Lathan, if you are in California, watch your ass. I talked to somebody this week alone that says that they could not buy tuning software because of its ability to disable catalyst tests and check engine codes in California. Now, outside of California, I posted a post on Instagram. What, Instagram? Is that thing that I'm on? What's the thing with all the pictures? Not Pinterest, but the other one. Instagram. I had emailed all of my representatives, and one of them is one of the jerks that is saying that they don't want any kind of modifications for road vehicles. And so that's a good question, Lathan. I don't know. A lot of FUD going around, fear, uncertainty, disbelief, whatever the hell FUD means nowadays. Just be careful, man. I don't see it going away because we would still have to have the ability to tune aftermarkets, but at the end of the day, I always throw a Terminator X on it, right? Shane says, I installed a Mammo ported throttle body on my 18.2 SSM6 and the cold start now surges and pulls a bunch of timing. Never heard of people having these issues on cold starts. Any thoughts? Yeah. Welcome to ported throttle bodies. Did you update your throttle body settings, Shane? You guys got 8 minutes to get in on the merch raffle. Matt Landon says, what wideband O2 sensors would you recommend for HP tuners? The AEM 300300, Matt. You can also use the OBD2 variant of the AEM. It's really nice because it's super simple to set up as long as you have a 2008 or later vehicle. Nah, Brandon, if you're down to 0.02 seconds on your shift times, you're as far down as you need to go. Maybe try lowering your speed, your max speed shift times. See if that helps. Biker says, yeah, I got HP tuners to record my wideband twice, but that's it. It takes about 10 minutes of exiting the program, shutting off the computer to get it to record. Check your connections, Biker Boy, because there's a good chance you might have a bad connection somewhere. Check your, if you're using grounds, check your grounds. Make sure you have good grounds. Rick Johnson says there's a source for pinout sheets on models manufacturer side for our beloved LS platforms. Outside of spending the $20 for 3 days access to TDS Tech Connect, there's some other websites out there, but honestly, for $20 you can get 3 days access to AC Delco's TDS Tech Connect. It will give you all the information that you need. You can download the websites, use Chrome. You can download the websites wholesale, Rick Johnson, and basically open them up like you have access to them forever. So it's probably one of the best $20 that you can spend, because I have spent money on like the eBay tech manuals and stuff like that, and there's always information missing out of it. Hey, PCM Cobra, welcome back. Glad to hear your LY6 is back from the machine shop. TJ, you're a pig. Wallace says, working on a French tune on Gen 3, trying to do a log only, showing 0 across the board. What's wrong? Your input parameter is wrong, Wallace. Or your input math is not calculating properly. Yeah, Dan, the EPA is slamming the diesel world. Once again, as I've said in the past, they are focusing on a percent of a percent, which is not the real problem. That's because we have uneducated people who run our government. Shane Bradshaw says, no, because from what I read from other people, no tuning is required, so I haven't messed with it. Yeah, there is tuning required on a ported throttle body. Which one do you have? Max area probably needs adjustment. That's one of the big ones. Max area makes a huge difference on how the throttle body responds. I've got a video out there that kind of gives you an idea of how to dial in max area, but I found even with that, you have to kind of make adjustments on it based on what it should be. PCM Cobra says, I'm running that OBD2 wideband from AEM on my 2500, looking for something different for the C10. As I said, the 300300 is great with the serial. Works great for me. So I still have that Innovate, but I don't have any reason to install it now. So Casey, glad to hear you enjoying the Terminator X info. I got a new video coming out tomorrow on it. Dyno videos are coming out soon. I actually need to probably tomorrow swing by the dyno shop that I'm going to do some videos with, and then I've got access to another dyno out east, but I'm not to the point where really to dyno anything quite yet. Hey Hillary, welcome back. Is your boyfriend in here? I did not see D&G anywhere. Yeah, Steve, I know, man. Well, and that's the problem is the guys that are out here actually tuning vehicles. He says it's funny, diesel truck with emissions 14.5, remove emissions 18. The issue is that the guys that are out here are actually modifying these vehicles in the process of making horsepower. A lot of these guys are making the vehicles more efficient and so it's just like a lot of frustration with all that stuff. Awesome. There's DZ. Good to see you again, brother. We got 2.5 minutes, about 3 minutes left on the merch pack. If you have not joined the raffle, hit that exclamation point raffle to join up. Justin Brown says, first time with you live. Welcome to the live show. Welcome to the #1 live show that is tuning based, that is shot out of my office. It's probably the #1 tuning live show in the entire world. I'm going to go that far and say that. Until somebody says that they have a better live tuning show than me, I'm going to say that this is the best live tuning show in the entire world. I can be a little bit arrogant, right? Mr. Baker, just check out goatropegarage.com. That will get you to a link that'll take you to the Patreon. $15 a month, get you all the tuning assistance that you can want. And we will probably, the first of the month is coming around. Anybody's looking for one of those pro tiers, the $75 a month for the one-on-one, there will be at least one that is opened up, if not two. So check it out. TJ says only 2 legends still alive today, Chuck Norris and Kyle. And I could kick Chuck Norris's ass at this point in time. Hey, Rick, listen. I am doing a video on this weekend. I'm glad you asked. Rick says, any suggestions on an affordable laptop that will handle VX Diag and HP tuners? Minimum specs to run both. I literally today, Rick, bought the cheapest Windows 10 tablet I could find. We're going to see if it will run HP tuners, VX Diag, and the Holley Terminator X tuning software. So keep your eyes peeled. This thing was like $80. If it works, I will let you know. If not, we will talk about in that video kind of what you need to look for to make sure that you can tune. So, you guys give me a big head. I don't really have a beard. I just have scruff. Mine grows in like Keanu Reeves, just kind of patchy and worthless. Zero says, been tinkering with the Blue Cat Trans program with the 4L80. Seems to work good so far. You know, I messed with it whenever I was setting up the trans controller for Project Country Club. And it got me a lot better than the default trans file that came for the 5L80, which is 5L80, 5L50, or 5L60, whatever that crappy 5-speed transmission is that I'm dealing with. So, yeah, but even still, it needed some work. It made things a little bit more aggressive than I wanted. Red Nug asks if Zero is in the 405. He is in the 405. He might be in the 580. You in the 580 or the 405, or what's the new area code that they're getting down there, Zero? Okay, we're closing out the entries here for the draw, and let's see who wins. Big money, no whammies. And Brandon, congratulations. You are the winner of a merch pack. Brandon, do me a favor. Send me your address over to the info at Goat Rope Garage. Hillary, thank you for the Smoky Burnout. We're going to have some new Smoky Burnouts here soon. We're having a competition over on the Patreon. Brandon Pilot is the winner. We're going to have some new Smoky Burnouts. And I think I'm going to start using them, even though we're not picking a winner quite yet for the Smoky Burnouts. Woo! My wife just ordered piata for us. You guys don't know what that means, but I am awesome happy. We have a couple of Smoky Burnouts, so I'm going to rotate some of those Smoky Burnouts in, but hopefully we get some more contestants in the Smoky Burnout Patreon contest. Well, you know, that's what you get for showing up, Brandon. 572 is the new area code. That's terrible. Man, hate to hear that, Matt. Send me an email if you want. I'll refund you. You can sign back up on Saturday. I don't have any issues with that, man. Scuba Sam says, anyone looking for a great laptop for tuning, I recommend the Acer Swift 1. It's a 14-inch small light, battery lasts forever. Sam, what does it cost? Low buck? Listen, bro, it's not hard to do smoky burnouts in the snow. Just do snowy burnouts instead. Hey, Zeth, thank you for stopping by, brother. Sorry that you're going through that, man. Just good to see you again. So, appreciate you stopping in. As always, brother. Scuba Sam says that one is $230. Works out good for him, so. Exactly. Riley says, just pretend the snow is smoke. Yeah, the roads out here are soaking wet. Might have to get the old Super Auto out and lay some smoke out. It's not even super anymore, but we could clear the rain out and get some smoke off there eventually, right? See, Hillary's got the right idea. Just keep on running it out. Beastie Boy says, dang, I'm late. Bought some new coveralls. At least you got a good excuse. 325 Sonoma. Good to see you again, brother. Yeah, Zero. This one's going to be 32 gig also. It's super cheap. But I just want to see... Dude, Durfloor, your streak is like one episode shorter than my streak. Man, I love you, Zeth. You're my boy. Big shout out. Hey, if you're still in here, Zeth, throw a link to your channel in the comment. Same thing. We're starting to wrap up here, Randy. So if you wanted to throw Lowbuck LS, throw a link out to your channel. Throw it in there, guys. I don't care. Share the love. Justin says, I shaved a second off my quarter mile using what you taught. Woo! A whole second. Justin. Getting it done. That's impressive. I'll tell you, Justin, whenever I had my '08 Corvette, as I said, I took it to the drag strip with about 200 miles on it, and I ran a 12.7 on the first pass, came back, and threw HP tuners at it, made a couple adjustments, got out, ran a 12.3 on the second pass. And I thought that was impressive. That was half a second. You racked up a whole second. Congratulations, brother. That's awesome. That is awesome. Well, go join Dirt Floor's Facebook group. Go join Lowbuck LS's Facebook group. I don't do Facebook, so... Hey, Michael B., good to see you again, brother. Anybody that's talking about tuning, that is legitimately talking about tuning, I'm going to support them. Love the community. Love the community. James, you are the man. Whew! James Taylor ran a 13.8 stock and a 12.7 after tuning a stock G8. That does not surprise me, man. So much to be had on these platforms just by a little bit of tweaking. Ross shaved 1.2 off his 0 to 60. That is crazy. Now that's getting it. What do you guys think? Quick poll here. Yes or no? Yes or no? Should we put another supercharger on the Super Auto? Since we took the P1 SC off, should we put another supercharger on the Super Auto? Post in the comments, yes or no. And would you guys like to see me try and stuff an LT4 supercharger on there? Anybody be interested in watching putting an LT4 supercharger on an L83? We're not going straight to 2650. Come on, guys. Don't be crazy. Josh says, LS scaling injectors that are over the flow limit in tune with an ignition volt scaler, good practice. No, man, don't do the volt scaler approach, Josh. Do the stoic double. So cut the injector rate in half and then double your stoic table. So if you're at 14.7, whatever, double that out. That's easier and it works on more platforms. Some platforms don't look at the volt scaler one. So I really wish that the whatever those guys' names are would not have that video out there saying to use the volt scaler, because it doesn't work on most platforms. No turbos, Lathan. We're not doing a turbo. Geo says the F1X. Man, I was thinking more of an F1A possibly, but I might be able to get my hands on an LT4 blower set up for a decent price, and I think it would make some good content because we could go through the process of tuning for a LT4 swap onto a, you know, L86, L83, LT1 setup, kind of like that. So kind of want to do a maybe a 10 video series on going through all the steps of installation, tuning, putting it on the track, things like that. So PC, come on, bro. I love the Caddy. That thing is sweet. Jim White, I promise you Project Country Club will get a blower, but it's going to get an LSX block first. Yes, PCC will see a supercharger. I know people are wanting to do turbos and stuff like that, but, and I love turbos, don't get me wrong. I've had plenty of turbocharged cars, but I am kind of a die-hard supercharger guy. Hey, VJ, glad you made it in right before the end there. Riley says, what is the hardest mod you've done on a car? It is either turbocharging the Subaru RS25 or swapping the, I had an FD RX-7, the twin turbo RX-7. I swapped it from an automatic to a manual. And it was more frustrating because the clutch that I bought, the information that they told me was backwards. And so I installed the clutch plate backwards, and then the transmission ended up being bad. So within the span of about 2 weeks, I dropped the transmission out of that car 6 times maybe. And the 6th time that I dropped that transmission, I did it by myself in 30 minutes. That was car, drove it into the shop, put it up on jacks, had the transmission out, had the new transmission in within 30 minutes. Got really good at swapping RX-7 transmissions. Nick, I had to pay for other projects. Sometimes you got to sell things to make money, you know. Listen, everybody, it is 8:54. It is wrap-up time. I'm going to take one more question if anybody throws one out there. If not, I want to say, Brandon Pilot, if you're still in here, make sure you email me so I can get you out a merch pack. If you are thinking about joining the Patreon, I suggest you join before February 2nd so you can get one of those sweet limited edition Project Country Club decals. And, of course, everybody gets a koozie for signing up. Anybody that's not gotten their koozie yet, listen, they went out, I promise you. I kind of slacked on that one for a while. I apologize. What else can I say? James Avery says, I got a Silverado Gen 5.3 that gets knock retard in 4th gear at 3,400 RPMs, but gets no knock anywhere else. False knock, you think? Timing is stock. Just change PE to 12.5, run 89 octane. James, on 89 octane, it might be real knock. Pull it down 2 degrees, see if it changes. If it doesn't, it could be false. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Man, listen, okay. Love you guys. Best tuning community out there. I don't care what anybody says. I know a lot of you stink. But I still love you. ABT, always be tuning. Keep on posting those great comments, questions on the videos, things like that. Let me know what kind of situations you guys run into, what we can do to try and solve those situations. Please go check out goatropegarage.com. Also, remember, you can use the www.tuning101.com link. Share that thing out there. Throw it on Facebook. Throw it anywhere that somebody asks a tuning question. Say, hey, check out tuning101.com. It takes you straight to the YouTube page for Goat Rope Garage. Oh, Hillary, buenas noches to you. Zero, you still stink. Listen, you guys. Well, you know, Speedy, which decals you want to talk about? Because we've got, you know, if you can, if you're a long-term patron, you get the awesome long-term patron decal here. And you get one of the Tuned by Me round decals that are only available to long-term patrons. The new, hold on, let's see what else we got here. I've got 3-inch Goat Rope Garage decals. These are the size of the koozie, or the coasters. These things are huge. I've not done anything with these yet. You want to talk about super cool? I have Goat Rope Garage Tuned by Me magnets. Yeah, that's right, magnets. If you, if you win one of the merch packs, you'll probably get a magnet. I like, I got some magnets, but I did exactly. Got to get them all. But the Project Country Club one is just the Project Country Club logo. You can see it on the shirt. It's the one that has the cool, the flourishes. Looks like it's a country club shield that's outside whenever you pull in. It's got the Cadillac decal on there. If you go over to the website, you can see the shirt. But that decal, as I said, is only going to be available until February 2nd to patrons. Whenever February 2nd happens, I'm going to print out a list of all the active patrons. And anybody that's an active patron gets that for free. On top of, you get a koozie. Get one of the awesome Goat Rope Garage koozies that has ABT, always be tuning. GoatRopeGarage.com, tuning101.com. That you get, even if you sign up on the $5 tier, you get that for free. So, I mean, it's literally, you're getting a free one. And then you're also eligible, generally, I've been slacking. I will admit, I've been slacking. I generally give out, I do a drawing about every week for patrons only. So, seriously, man, anybody buys a shirt, that money goes straight into the mod funds. But yeah, as I said, I do drawings. In fact, I gave a book away 2 weeks ago. Finally got mailed out. I got to find some other stuff to give away here soon. So, and normally I do the big drawings for patrons because, yeah, I mean, they're the guys that are paying for this stuff, and so. Okay, we're wrapping it up. Listen, everybody. Once again, ABT, always be tuning. Thanks for stopping by the garage. We will see you guys next Thursday.